Hello and welcome all of my TVT or friends of TVT. Welcome to episode 51 of Tennis Volley Talk with Brian Danielson. Hey, this week, what I'm going to be covering this week is really actually the kind of the Australian leg of right before the Australian Open. And they had three different tournaments that they held in four different places for this first part of the Australian swing this last week. And what they ended up having is actually Perth, and then Sydney, and then Brisbane, and then Auckland is where they had those tournaments at. But three really actually tournaments, and one was an ATP and then a WTA and then the United Cup, which is kind of like a similar to Davis Cup competition. It is only three sets of it's a men's singles, women's singles, and then mixed doubles, and that's how it is set up that way. And they had the groups that they had playing in this were Poland, Spain, and Brazil, and that was in Group A in Perth. Group C was the USA, the Great Britain, and then Australia. And then Group E was Czech Republic, China, and Serbia. That was in Perth. That they played that all out. And eventually the team that ended up winning that whole group and then ended up then going into the finals actually ended up being Poland. And then in the Sydney part of it, Group B was Greece, Canada, and then Chile. And then Group D was France, Italy, and Germany. And then Group F was Croatia, Netherlands, and then Norway. So those were the groups in Sydney. And eventually the team that eventually came out the winner of all of those groups ended up being Germany. But there was, and that ended up being down to the final match and between Poland and Germany. Now, Iga Swiatek ended up playing the German women player Angelina Kerber, and then actually she ended up winning in 3 sets over Kerber, and then it was down to Sasha Zverev, and in the group for Germany, and then he was playing Herbert Hurkacz. Now that match in itself was actually win another 3 sets, and Zverev ended up being down and ended up pulling out a set point down, and by a cross-court shot up close to the net past Herbert Hurkacz, landed barely in on the line, and then that saved him a match point, and then he went on and won that second set, and then they went on, and then the third set, he ended up beating Herbert Hurkacz. And then it went down then to the mixed doubles, and that was Herbert Hurkacz and Iga Swiatek, and then Sasha Zverev, and then the doubles specialist for Germany and the women. And they ended up pulling it out. And like I said, you play with John McEnroe in doubles, you're guaranteed to win. Well, anyway, Zverev was playing with one of the specialists in doubles that plays doubles all the time on the women's side. And that's why they ended up winning in 2 sets. So they ended up winning the team competition then all the way around for the United Cup, which was the first time that Germany ended up winning. So that was a very, very good match all the way around. It was all compelling and enthralling all the way around with the United Cup. And it was such a good format, relaxed, with the men's singles, women's singles, and then the mixed doubles. And then very much like the Davis Cup format, but at just only 3. So, but you can get a lot of matches in those few days that they played in the United Cup. So it was really actually very good. Now on the other side too, we had Brisbane that Gregor Dimitrov beat Holger Rune. He beat him 7-6, 6-4, but it was the first tournament that Gregor actually won in like 4 years. But then Gregor has been on a tear. In the last part of 2023, Gregor Dimitrov was on a tear in winning a couple tournaments or coming close to winning a couple of tournaments. Got beat by Novak Djokovic in one of them with 3 sets, I believe it. No, 2 sets it did. But anyway, he has been really playing good. One of the more pure one-handed backhand players in the world right now today, or probably one of the best one-handed backhands other than Stan Wawrinka in 2024 right now. And then he ended up winning his final. And good for him, because that'll give him some good momentum going into the Australian Open. He probably will make it pretty far with his confidence now. And then, with that too. But also I do want to just make sure that all you YouTubers, you do subscribe and subscribe to my channel, comment, and hopefully you like what I'm doing. Later on, we'll have Racket of the Day that you'll see a racket. And for you podcasters, if you like and subscribe and make a comment on that on the podcasters, you're going to hear about the racket that I'm going to talk about. And then if you do want to see it, you can always go to my YouTube channel, Tennis Volley Talk, and take a look at it. So anyway, with that, also, then they had in Auckland, and then that was a very compelling WTA tennis final. And that was between Coco Gauff and Elina Svitolina. Now, with that, too, that was her second final, Coco Gauff's second final. She won it last year, and this was her second final to be in, to maybe win it this year. And then she ended up, ended up going in a very good 3-set match, and that was 6-7 and then 6-3, 6-3, which Coco Gauff ended up winning. But it was a very good match all the way around. But Coco Gauff just kept getting better and better each match she played. And so good for Coco Gauff in the way she played in her match against Svitolina. So all in all the way around, good first leg of the Australian leg, and that's first starting out of that. And then this coming up week right before the Australian Open happens, then they're going to be having a little bit more leg of Australian tennis in Australia before the Australian Open, and that's going to be coming up real soon. And with that too, with that also, just make sure that you YouTubers, you want to subscribe, like, and make a comment. And then you podcasters, you're going to be hearing about the Racket of the Day coming up. And then if you want to take a look at it, be sure and go to the YouTube channel, Tennis Volley Talk, take a look at it. So I do, with that too, that all in all, what do you guys think about that though too, as far as the United Cup? Do you like that format with the United Cup? I do. It's very relaxed. You get to see a lot of the top players that play that going into the Australian Open. It's kind of they've had a few weeks, week or two off and on to rest and not play as intense. But yet with the United Cup, it also did count on points and rankings with the United Cup. So that was kind of a concern, a contributing factor behind playing in the United Cup also with that. And then, being able to have the win under his belt with Gregor, and then good for Coco Gauff. That gives her very much momentum going into the Australian Open also. And then with that too, just wanted to let you see what I have right now is actually the racket of the day. And the racket of the day here is called the Defiance racket. And then that is what it is. It's called the Defiance racket. And so anyway, with that too, this racket is probably in a roundabout, and it's an old, kind of a worn racket. Has the two pieces of colors, different colors of wood of that, and it's probably in about the 1930s into the 40s racket of what this racket is. And it was actually sold out of G&S Sporting Goods in Austin, Texas, back in the day. So I'd probably, sold off the rack in what they had and where it was made. It doesn't have a manufacturer of who, if this is a Wright Dixon or Wilson or Spalding or anything of that nature. I wish it did, because then I'd have a little bit more information as far as the manufacturer with it too. But it's a very good old used racket. It's been worn, been played with. It does not have gut, because it was actually strung with the regular nylon racket. They probably did take the catgut or cow gut out of there, and then they did it with the nylon, regular, just plain nylon string, which we all kind of grew up back in the 70s. But probably somebody did have this even back and kept it and then strung it up in maybe the 60s, 70s. I mean, maybe even played with it. Who knows? But it's still very old racket with the different colored wood that it had with it. And I'm not really sure what kind of wood it is, but still not too worn out on the tip or edge of the racket at all. But if you YouTubers, you're looking at it right now, and I hope that you do like what I'm showing you with the racket of the day, and then you podcasters, you'll get the chance to see it. If you do want to take a look at it, go to the YouTube channel at Tennis Volley Talk, and you'll get to take a look at at that. And so with that too, we do just wanted to let you see that racket of the day, and I'm glad that you do like it. And if you do like that, let me know more about that. Make a comment, and if you do. And then with that too, with all of the tournaments coming up and leading up to the Australian Open, who do you think might win the Australian Open? Now it could be Alcaraz, it could be Zverev, it could be Djokovic. Who knows? Any one of those guys can end up winning it this year. Even Yannick Sinner, he might end up winning it. He's really been on a good tear and winning too. So let me know on that. Who do you think might end up being winning Australian Open, or who's the odds-on favorite? They did come out with some of the draw today. I didn't get all of that, but some of it looks pretty interesting as far as the draw and who's playing who in the first round with that too. And all of that going, and having said, I just wanted to thank my friends of TVT, and that wherever you're playing this week, I do hope that you have a good time playing, either outside or inside. It's still going to be inside, well, either outside or inside. Just play good, keep hitting the ball. And then I will be talking to you next week with episode 52. And I hope everybody has an enjoyable week hitting the ball. Thank you and goodbye.